You ever get that feeling that some people just get it? Like they're playing the game of life with a rulebook that you never received. They just seem to glide through social situations, knowing exactly what to do, what to say, and how to act. It's a strange feeling, isn't it?
Well, what if I told you there might actually be a kind of invisible framework at play? A sort of secret social ladder that helps explain the dynamics we see all around us, from the office to our friend groups.
Today, we are going to unpack a really interesting and, pretty controversial 6-level framework that's used to describe male social roles. It's called the socio-sexual hierarchy, and it tries to put a name to these different archetypes we all recognize. Now, before we dive into what an alpha or a sigma is, if you're the kind of person who loves digging into big ideas and understanding the world a little better, do us a quick favor. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. It really helps us keep these conversations going. So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about what this framework actually is. Then we'll work our way down the ladder, starting with the top tiers, moving to the middle ranks, and then the lower tiers. And stick around, because at the end, we're going to talk about the single most important takeaway from all of this. All right, section 1, let's get right to it. What exactly is this socio-sexual hierarchy? Okay, so this is really important to get straight from the get-go. The socio-sexual hierarchy is a conceptual model. It mostly grew out of online communities as a way to categorize men based on their social status and personality traits. It is absolutely not a scientific theory. So think of it more like a set of glosses, a lens you can use to look at social interactions, not some proven hard and fast biological fact. So let's start where every hierarchy starts, at the very top. Here we find 2 archetypes that are often seen as the most dominant, but in very different ways: the leader and the lone wolf. First up, we have the alpha. You probably already have a picture of this person in your head. This is your classic leader of the pack. They're at the top of the social pyramid, the one who commands attention when they walk into a room. Their key traits? Usually very high confidence, they're extroverted, they get energy from being around people, and they're not afraid to take risks. Right alongside the alpha, but in a totally different lane, is the sigma. This one's fascinating. The sigma is often described as having all the core confidence of an alpha, but they're introverted and fiercely independent. They aren't interested in leading a pack. In fact, they operate completely outside the social hierarchy by choice. The sigma is that lone wolf figure whose power comes from not needing anyone else's approval. Okay, moving down from the top, we get to the middle ranks. And according to this framework, this is where you'll find most people. These are the roles that make up the real foundation of society: the lieutenant and the backbone.
And here we meet the beta. Now, online, this term gets thrown around as an insult, but in this hierarchy, that's not its meaning at all. The beta is the trusted lieutenant. They're the reliable, responsible right-hand man to the alpha. They're the ones who help execute the vision, value stability, and make sure things actually get done. They are absolutely essential. Next up is the delta. This archetype is seen as the literal backbone of society. The delta represents the vast majority of normal, hardworking guys. They're not obsessed with social games or climbing the ladder. They're focused on doing their job, providing for their family, and finding pride in their work. They are the ones who keep the lights on and the world running. All right, now we're heading into the lower tiers of the pyramid. And down here, the roles are defined less by what they do within the social structure and more by how they react to it. We're going to look at the resentful and the outcast. So, let's talk about the gamma. If you had to pick one word to define the gamma, it would be resentment. Gammas often see themselves as secret kings. They tend to be intelligent, maybe a little intellectual, but they feel like the world has overlooked their brilliance. This leads to them being really critical of the hierarchy and the people at the top, but usually from the sidelines, because they can be pretty socially awkward. And finally, at very bottom, we have the omega. The omega is the social outcast. This is someone who is just completely disconnected from the social game altogether. They don't know the rules, and they're not really playing. Now, the key difference between an omega and a sigma is choice. The sigma chooses to be outside the hierarchy. The omega is often just ignored by it, maybe due to a lack of social skills or having very niche interests. Okay, so we've journeyed all the way from the alpha at the top to the omega at the bottom. We've defined all the terms. But so what? What is the real point of understanding all of this? What does it actually tell us? So here it is, all laid out. You've got the alpha leader and the sigma lone wolf at the top. In the middle, you have the supportive beta lieutenant and the hardworking delta worker,
And at the bottom, there's the resentful gamma critic and the disconnected omega outcast. Seeing them all together like this really helps you see how the model imagines them all fitting together. And that brings us to the single most important idea in this entire breakdown. If you remember nothing else, remember this. A framework like this is just a map. It is not the territory. Think about what that really means. A map can show you where the mountains and rivers are, but it can't tell you where to go. It can't force you to climb or swim. This hierarchy, it just describes some common patterns of human behavior. It doesn't define who you are, and it sure as heck doesn't decide your destiny. These are labels, not life sentences. You are always the one holding the compass, choosing the path. We really hope this breakdown gave you some food for thought and maybe a new lens to look at the world through. If you found it valuable, the best way you can say thanks is to just hit that subscribe button. It lets us know you want more content just like this. But now we really want to turn the question over to you. What do you think about this whole hierarchy? Do you see it as a useful tool for making sense of social dynamics? Or do you think it's just a bunch of harmful, restrictive labels? Or maybe it's something else entirely. Go ahead and drop your honest thoughts down in the comments section. Have you seen these archetypes play out in your own life? We read the comments, and we'd love to get a real conversation started. Thanks so much for tuning in.